What if I told you there's a car rolling down the street right now that never needs to stop at a gas station, never needs to plug into a charger, and could theoretically drive forever? Sounds impossible, right? Well, buckle up, because what's happening in Africa right now is about to flip everything you know about cars, energy, and global power on its head. Picture this. Somewhere on the outskirts of a rapidly growing city, past the construction cranes and dusty roads, sits a building that looks completely unremarkable from the outside. Just another factory. Steel beams, glass windows, nothing special. But walk through those doors and you'll find yourself in what can only be described as something out of a sci-fi movie. Forget everything you know about electric vehicle production. There are no massive battery packs being hauled around, no lithium cells stacked to the ceiling. Instead, you'll see these glowing energy modules, magnetic coils humming with an almost otherworldly presence, and engineers moving around like they're handling something sacred. Because they are. They're building cars that defy the rules, cars that never run out of power. The assembly line moves with this eerie precision. Vehicle frames glide along smoothly, but instead of workers wrestling with heavy battery units, robotic arms delicately install these compact energy cores. And here's the kicker. These cores don't need electricity pumped into them. They don't wear out after a few years like your phone battery. They're tapping into something constant, something ambient, pulling energy from sources we're just beginning to understand. Even the biggest names in electric vehicles haven't cracked this code yet. Every single car leaving this facility isn't just another electric vehicle. It's something else entirely. A machine that runs indefinitely without charging cables, without fuel stops, without boundaries. Now, you might be wondering how the world found out about this. Well, it wasn't through some fancy press release or corporate announcement. It was grainy smartphone footage, the kind that gets recorded in secret and shared in disbelief. Someone filmed dozens of these vehicles driving out of the factory gates, and the caption was simple but earth-shattering. The future just arrived. No more charging. No more oil. That video exploded overnight. Millions of views. Thousands of shares. Comment sections went absolutely wild. Government officials started making urgent phone calls. Investors were scrambling to book the next flight out. And somewhere in California, word is that a certain tech billionaire watched that footage over and over again, probably not sleeping that night. Inside the factory's private testing grounds, under blazing floodlights, a row of these freshly assembled vehicles sat waiting. Engineers stood around, silent, eyes glued to the futuristic dashboards flickering with data. The first car rolled forward, and the sound was almost unsettling in its quietness. No battery percentage displayed, no fuel gauge blinking, just one symbol glowing softly on the screen. An infinity sign, pulsing, alive. The lead engineer gave the signal and the driver floored it. The car shot forward with this raw, breathtaking acceleration, leaving only a faint hum trailing behind it. Lap after lap around the track. No slowdown. No overheating. No power drop whatsoever. Someone in the crowd whispered what everyone was thinking. If this is legit, everything just changed. But here's where things get serious. This wasn't just a tech demo anymore. This became a matter of national security. Armed guards started patrolling every corner of the facility. Drones swept the skies constantly. Because everyone knew that foreign intelligence agencies, corporate spies, and the biggest energy companies on Earth would do anything to get their hands on this technology. Rumors started circulating that major oil corporations were already sending teams to infiltrate the operation. One insider leaked that the factory's servers got hit with multiple sophisticated hacking attempts within just 48 hours of that video going public. This wasn't about transportation anymore. This was about who controls the energy that powers civilization itself. Meanwhile, halfway around the world in a boardroom lit only by a massive screen, a late-night emergency meeting was underway. That leaked footage played on loop. The man leading the meeting leaned forward, his expression intense. "If this works the way it appears to," he said slowly, "then everything we've built becomes yesterday's technology." His team was divided. Some engineers called it fake, impossible, a publicity stunt. Others insisted this could be the breakthrough they'd been racing toward for years, but he wasn't dismissing it. Reports were already confirming that multiple prototypes were out there on actual roads, logging hundreds of hours of continuous operation without stopping. For the first time ever, the company that revolutionized electric vehicles wasn't leading the charge. They were playing catch-up. Within days, the world was in complete chaos. Every news channel replayed that footage endlessly. A vehicle that runs forever without fuel or electricity. Stock markets went haywire. Oil prices took a nosedive as panic spread through the energy sector. Executives who once seemed untouchable were suddenly locked in emergency strategy sessions, desperately trying to figure out damage control. In government offices, officials were asking the hard questions. How did this happen first in Africa? And how fast can we get access to it? One high-ranking advisor reportedly said to the energy secretary, "This isn't just an invention. This is a geopolitical game-changer." Quietly, military analysts issued classified assessments calling these vehicles potential strategic assets. Across the ocean, European energy giants were reportedly sending delegations directly to the factory, not to compete, but to beg for partnerships. Eyewitnesses said their representatives looked absolutely stunned by what they saw. But here's the mystery that nobody could figure out. A handful of journalists were granted limited access inside the facility, and they all noticed the same thing. No charging infrastructure anywhere. No fuel lines. No connection to any external power grid. The cars came off the line already powered and stayed powered. When one brave reporter asked directly, "What's making these things run?" an engineer gave the simplest, most mind-bending answer imaginable. The universe already provides everything we need. We just figured out how to tap into it. That single statement launched 1,000 theories. Was it magnetic energy? Some advanced solar technology we've never seen? Quantum mechanics? Or something that completely rewrites our understanding of physics? Back at the tech giant's headquarters, the response wasn't just observation anymore. It was action. Behind closed doors, a hand-picked team of engineers was tasked with analyzing every frame of that footage. Quiet inquiries were made to contacts across Africa, business people, scientists, even politicians, all trying to confirm if this was real. One advisor suggested buying the patents immediately before the world caught on. But the reality was clear. If this team had already scaled up to factory production, then this wasn't just a concept anymore. This was a full-blown revolution. And for the first time, the company that disrupted everyone else was about to get disrupted. In a secured conference room thousands of miles away, regional leaders, scientists, and defense officials gathered around a table. The agenda was crystal clear. What do we do with this? Intelligence reports said powerful nations had already offered billions for exclusive access. Others proposed partnerships. Oil-rich countries, terrified of economic collapse, were allegedly trying to sabotage negotiations by spreading rumors and instability. Then one leader at that table leaned forward and said something that silenced the entire room. "For generations, we've been the source of raw materials for the world. This time, we're the source of the future itself." In that moment, the global balance of technological power shifted. History was being rewritten in real time. Across the ocean, another covert meeting was taking place. A group of engineers had been flown in under maximum security. They'd somehow obtained a sample of the mysterious power module rumored to be at the heart of these vehicles. The device, no bigger than a shoebox, pulsed with this faint energy. One scientist stared at it and muttered, "This violates every law we thought was fundamental." The device was immediately classified. If this technology was real and controlled elsewhere, it meant everything from oil dominance to military supply chains to space exploration strategies could be turned upside down. The tech billionaire, now briefed by his government contacts, realized the full scope. This wasn't about cars. This was about controlling energy itself. While the world spiraled into chaos, the man behind it all finally broke his silence. In a rare televised interview, calm and almost serene, he delivered a statement that would echo across continents. The problem was never that we didn't have enough energy. The problem was that greed kept us from accessing what's already abundant. We just needed the courage to unlock it. Those words went viral instantly. Millions called him a visionary, a prophet of a new age. Others labeled him reckless, even dangerous. Social media exploded with hashtags celebrating the breakthrough and mourning the end of the oil era. But behind the scenes, spies, corporations, and governments weren't focused on his speeches. They were watching his factory, planning how to either gain control or destroy it. Late one night, silent drones hovered above the facility, their cameras scanning every inch, transmitting live feeds to an unknown command center continents away. A voice crackled through encrypted communications. "Target confirmed. We move at sunrise." Foreign operatives, hired not by governments directly but by desperate energy conglomerates, were preparing the first sabotage attempt. But the man behind this revolution wasn't naive. He'd anticipated this. The next morning, journalists worldwide woke up to shocking satellite footage showing dozens of unidentified drones falling from the sky around the facility. The internet exploded with theories. Did they develop anti-drone technology? Was the factory protected by something beyond our understanding? Or was someone else secretly involved? Governments panicked. Investors flooded into renewable energy stocks. Oil prices crashed again. Meanwhile, the visionary sat calmly in his office, sipping tea. On his desk was a sealed envelope marked with 2 words: unveiling. 30 days. 30 days later, the entire world watched with held breath. Cameras from every major news network were positioned outside the factory. A gleaming self-powered vehicle sat center stage under the African sun. The man walked out steady and confident. Behind him, a massive screen illuminated with bold text: "The future is infinite." He addressed the planet directly. Today, Africa isn't just participating in the conversation. We're leading it. This factory doesn't belong to me. It belongs to all of us. It belongs to humanity. At that exact moment, the factory's automated doors rolled open, and hundreds of these self-powered vehicles emerged in perfect formation. No chargers, no fuel. Just the promise of limitless clean energy. The world stopped. Oil markets collapsed to historic lows. Nations rushed to completely rethink their energy strategies. Engineers from every corner of the globe begged for collaboration. Ordinary people took to the streets, celebrating. The age of infinite energy had arrived. And in that California office, the tech billionaire sat watching the live stream in silence. A small smile crossed his face. Not anger. Respect. History just happened, he whispered to himself. And now the real race begins. That factory became the first of many, sparking a wave of self-powered technology facilities across continents. For the first time in modern history, Africa wasn't chasing innovation. It was defining it. The world had fundamentally changed. The era of oil was fading into memory, and the age of infinite energy had begun. So the question isn't whether this changes everything. The question is, are you ready for what comes next? If this blew your mind, hit that like button, subscribe for more groundbreaking stories, and drop a comment telling me what you think happens when energy becomes unlimited. Because trust me, we're just getting started.